Lemisha, I want to thank you for coming on the show to share your stories with our viewers and our listeners. Could you briefly tell us what's going on in your life and in your K-12 career right now?
Thanks for having me on. Right now, what I'm doing is I am currently studying for administration and I am working in fifth grade as a reading specialist. And
Okay.
I've been at this for 16 years now.
Wow. What's the name of the school that you work at?
The school I work at now is Press Elementary.
Nice, nice. And is that in Dallas Independent School District? What school district is that?
It's actually north of Dallas in McKinney ISD,
Okay,
a little
good
small
deal.
town north of Dallas. Yes.
Yeah, that's a very nice area. And so,
Yeah.
what is your current? You said your current position is reading specialist. What do you love most about your current position?
The important thing with even being in education is you get to network and meet those children. You get the ones that have the most needs,
Sure.
and you just fall in love with them. Like literally, like a lot of people, like, oh no, I don't want this kid. He's troubled. Those are the kids I love the most.
Right.
The ones with the issues. And they love me. It's like, can I go to Miss Williams' class? Everybody wants to be with me. So those are the kids I love because those are the ones you get to see the most growth with. So yeah.
No, I can see that. I can see that. So, the research says that if a student doesn't learn how to read by third grade, that it becomes very, very difficult for them. How do you work with those students that make it past third grade and they're still not reading on grade level and they need that additional support?
For me, the most easiest thing to do is meet them where they are. So
Okay.
if you're with a fourth grade and you're on second grade level, I kind of meet them on second grade level. And I say, hey, you're on second grade level, not necessarily telling to the kids, but say, look, this is where you are and this is where we need to be. So let's kind of work towards getting to that goal. And a
Sure.
lot of times they may not reach that goal, but you can see some growth. So the growth is what I focus on most,
Okay.
making
That's
that
good.
growth. So yeah.
Yeah. Does it take a village? I mean, how closely do you work with the parents as well as the teachers of that student to bring
Well,
them?
most definitely, it's gonna be a village because you have some things that parents are gonna have to, some forms they have to fill out, or saying, "Hey, can you make sure he does this at home?"
Hmm.
And even with the other teachers, they may have ideas that you may not have, or the teachers that I have in previous year. Hey, what is something this kid likes, or tell me something that I don't know about this child, so that I can build that relationship with him to kind of get him to open up more and feel comfortable and actually know that I'm here to help them.
Sure.
So,
So
yes.
how do you get kids, again, like you said, you brought up a good example of a fourth grade student. They're on second grade, and I would have to believe that's a blow sometimes to a child's self-esteem. How do you get kids to believe in themselves?
The
Um,
main thing I tell them, I'm like, listen, when you come to me, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not Judge Judy. I'm here to help you. Like,
yeah,
let's get this together and we're gonna work together and get it done. And nobody in there, and I teach them like the rule in this room, we're not judging people. We're here to help each other and we're more like a family. And I sometimes tell them, look, I'm the school mom, and at school when you have to do what mom asks you to. So let's kind of get together and a family. I treat them like it's a family, and
awesome.
they even sometimes I had a few of them mistake and say, "Hey, mama." I'm like, "Wait, Miss Williams, Miss Owusu," But that's kind of like a compliment when you get a kid that calls you mom. It's like they
Yeah.
feel comfortable enough around you to let go and learn.
Yeah, I think children have no problem working with adults that they know, like, and trust. So that's really, really
Hmm.
good.
Absolutely.
What were the main reasons that you chose to work specifically as a reading specialist?
For me, I grew up in a city that was more like small, and we didn't have a lot of resources. I mean, we had the school library, but I would get in book and I would get lost in the book. Like I
Mm,
would read books about traveling and books about things that I didn't know, and I got lost in the books.
mm,
And when I grew up, I was like, I really want to be able to work with kids and give them an opportunity to have those tools, because if you can read, you can do almost anything.
sure, sure, sure.
So that's what kind of got me. And then when I first started teaching, I was in a school district in Louisiana,
Mhm.
and I was working at a Title I school. And a lot of times with Title I, you get kids that the parents send you the best they have, and sometimes when they come, they're behind maybe a grade level or so. So when I started working with them, I was like, you know what? let me figure out something that I can do to help best support the kids. So
Right.
it was more of like me getting the knowledge to better teach them. So
Right.
that's how I kind of got into it, and I just loved it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for 16 years, so there's definitely
Yes.
some love there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of success stories, can you kind of share maybe a success story that you had with a student that maybe you inherited and they were reading well below grade level and they're a success now?
I can. I had a student that I taught 3 years ago. It was a young man, and he moved to the district that I was working in from Mississippi.
Mm,
And he was from the coastal area of Mississippi, and he was telling me how much he enjoyed going to the beach and just spending quality time with his family.
sure.
And when we got together and started working, his mom even told me, he was like, he's a little behind on reading, but he loves math. So
Mm,
what I did was to kind of like make him more comfortable. I
mhm.
started teaching him word problems, using
Okay.
math word problems to teach him how to read.
Okay.
And that's how we kind of got connected. And even to this day, he's in high school now.
Wow.
Well, no, actually, I taught his brother who's in high school
Okay.
now, but I
So
taught
he's
him 3 years ago, and I think he's in middle school now.
okay.
And we're still in contact, like him, me, his mom, and he
Wow.
sends me updates. And his brother, his oldest brother, I taught him as well. So
Okay.
he's in high school now. He's like middle, I think maybe eighth grade now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I when I build those relationships with the families, I try to keep in touch with them.
It sounds like it, right? Like
Yes,
you are practicing what you preach about. It takes a village. So I love that.
yes, and I love to see them grow. I'm like, I remember you when you were in first grade and
Yeah.
telling stories. And I have a group that's graduating this year, and I still have pictures of them when they were in my class. And I'm like, I'm gonna send you guys these pictures so you
Wow.
can see what you look like in middle school. You
Yeah.
weren't as polished as you were when you were in, they grow
Yeah.
up and they polish themselves up. I'm like, let me show you what you look like in first grade.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, those are priceless moments, right? Like
Yes,
to put a
very much so.
dollar tag on that. Like that's so amazing when you see
Yeah.
those young people just kind of blossom and grow into the young adults that they become. So thank you
Yes,
for sharing that.
yes.
So, what do you like most about being a K-12 educator, and what do you like least about being a K-12 educator?
The thing that I like the most is actually watching those children light bulbs come on. When
Mhm.
they get something and they actually get it, the light bulb, it's like literally, it's like their personalities just blink. And
Yeah.
then and they light up and they, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And you're like, yes, good job. I'm so proud of you. And building those relationships is another thing. A lot of the friends that I have now have been people that I've taught their children,
Oh
and we
wow.
still in like connection. Yeah. And I've watched them literally grow up.
No, that's amazing. What do
Yes.
you like least about being a K-12 educator?
The least thing that I could say right now, being that I'm in the state of Texas, is the political juggle that we've been dealing with here.
Yeah.
With the CRT and House Bill 45, where we had to like look at the data from the previous year and do a tutoring program for the kids. But I mean, at the end of the day, you still keep in mind that it's about the children.
100.
It kind of, when you wake up, it kind of pushes you like, okay, my goal today is to do this. I have to work things out for these children because they're our future. Like literally, they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is so true. So, the worldwide pandemic has negatively impacted all of us, right? Whether we're
yes.
talking about Texas, Seattle, the
Mhm.
world. How has the pandemic impacted you and your family and in your career?
For me, we transitioned from in the middle of the pandemic. I jumped states, so I went from Louisiana to the state of Texas.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
because of my husband's job, we moved to Texas. So
Sure.
that was one. The move from one state to the next was a big thing for our family, and then me just transitioning to a new state, new district.
Hmm.
That was like a bit of a change because each state does things a little different.
That's
And
true.
then in the midst of a pandemic, you go from wearing masks to challenging issues with parents, and now we're looking at the CRT theory, and it was just like a whole lot of political things that really, for me professionally, that
Hmm.
I had to, read up on and make sure I was doing the right thing
No,
with that
that's
stuff.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yes.
So, sometimes our profession, the K-12 profession, gets a bad rap. But what do you love about being a K-12 educator? And why is the K-12 profession a noble profession?
I mean, there is no career, literally, no career that you can go into without having somebody, an educator, teaching you how to do it. You
Wow,
cannot be a pilot without training from a teacher. You cannot be a doctor without years of training from a teacher. You
sure.
know, you literally cannot read without training from a teacher. Somebody has to teach you. So that's what makes it the most noble. Like you literally cannot do it without a teacher. So
That's so
I
true.
really, that's what really made me go more into a profession of education because I was
Okay.
like, I want to be a helper. Like I came from a family of public services,
Mhm.
firefighters. My grandfather was a fire chief. I had family members in the military. My dad, worked in the public. My mom was, an electrician, which is weird. A lot of people say, "Oh, your mom, yeah, she was an
Wow.
electrician."
Okay. That's
Yeah, so we were. Well, I came from a family of just public people, so it's kind of a natural thing for me.
sure.
Yeah, to move
That's
into.
really, really cool.
Yes.
So, Lemisha, let's say I don't see you for the next 5 years. What are your career goals? Where would you be 5 years from now in K-12 education?
In the next 5 years, you're definitely going to see me moving into administration.
Okay.
And also, like, I have a dream goal of
Okay.
actually opening a 3 and 4 year old academy to
Okay.
get those children very young and kind
Sure.
of give them the experience that the exposure and experience they need with just literacy.
Sure. That's super
Yeah.
important, isn't it?
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
much
I think
so.
the earlier, like you said, I think, if you can get them very early, I know personally myself, like I developed that love for reading very, very early.
Yes.
I just felt like when I read books, I could just be in that moment, right? If I'm reading about something in Africa, then I see
Exactly.
myself there, and the
Yes.
mind can just kind of take you to those places. And that's the beauty of reading is it can take you anywhere that the book that you're reading will take you. Like, I mean, whether you're talking about a different country or
Yes.
maybe you're in a musical or maybe you're playing on a basketball court. Like it's just so
Right.
many things that reading can do. I mean, you can see my books behind me. I really believe
Yes.
in reading, and a lot of those books, truthfully, are for my kids. So I mean,
Okay.
I just really want them to have that love of reading because, and we try to develop it, like you said, at a very, very early age.
Yes, very early.
100%. So, Lamisha, how do you maintain work-life balance? I would have to assume that you have a family and, all the things that go with being, a part of a nuclear family, a unit. How do you maintain the work side and the family side?
Well, with the work side, my husband is very supportive, so he knows that if school ends at 3, I may not be home at 3. I may need an extra hour or so to kind of sort some things out. So he's very supportive, and even my children too. They've grown to kind of understand. Hey, even though the bell rings at 3:30, mom may be home at 4:30 because there's some
Sure.
things she has to do after work. But then when it's time for us to do family things, everything else shuts down. Like there's no word, nothing. If we're planning a family vacation, we are going on that vacation. Phones are put down, no work
Sure.
is nothing. We're going to enjoy this vacation. And recently in December, my husband graduated with his master's in IT security.
Wow.
So,
Congratulations to
so
you.
yes, I'll make sure I let him know that you
Yeah.
said. But his graduation was over in Florida because he graduated from a school, Florida Tech.
Hmm.
And we decided to make it like a family like vacation. You know, we packed up the kids, we booked the flight, we got the hotels. We're going to Miami. Like we're literally
Nice.
gonna go and enjoy this vacation. And we went from the beach to his graduation and back to the beach and did a little touring. So yeah, family time is important. Yeah.
100%. Family first. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Alicia, if you had to do it all over again, would you still have become a K-12 educator?
Most definitely. I would. Most definitely. And the reason why is I just love to see the young children like when they're learning and they actually get it and they know that you care about them and they're gonna work hard for you. Yes, I would do it over again, most definitely.
That's awesome. Lamisha, I want to thank you for coming on the My K-12 Career Show and sharing your story with our viewers. But before you leave, would you please give us some parting words of wisdom Tell us how we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
And thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Um, I would basically give the best advice I could say to you is always do what you love. Find something that you love and do it, and make it meaningful. Find something that's going to help others. That's one way you can also make the world a better place. Find something that's going to always help others, and save a little time in between for yourself.
absolutely.
Yes.
How can we
And
connect
the
with
best way to connect with me, yeah, my email address is lamishatutor@gmail.com.
you? Mhm.
And don't know my LinkedIn. But yeah.
Okay, but you're on LinkedIn, so they
Yeah,
can
but I'm on but I'm on LinkedIn.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, once again, we want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And before we leave, I do want to honor you and I want to thank you for your 16 plus years of service to
Thank
the
you.
school communities that you've had an impact on. And, I just know that you're going to do great things. And I just look forward to connecting with you in the future when you are assistant principal
Yeah.
Leo.
Thanks.
So I'm super excited about that. And I know that your future is bright. Thank you so much.
And thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Take care. All the best, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.